Все, микрофон включен. Включен. Кто это? У тебя новая квартира?
Видимо, есть фотографии. Вот это было. Ну, не знаю, правда.
За гиен смылся.
Мать избила свою дочку за то, что мать думала, что дочка хочет увести ее молодого мужа. Выбила ей зубы. Мать выбила дочке зубы.
Молодец.
Набросилась на свою дочь, выбила ей зубы. Имела виды на ее молодого мужа. Дочка.
Молодцы.
Secret passage under the manor. It's like a detective novel. That guy must have already gotten far.
Yeah. And he had a direct means of entry to the crime scene. We must find him.
Идем.
This place. More than just a... Look. Someone's been here recently.
3 seats. Did Charles Hawkins use this place? Who were the others? Did Charles Hawkins hide something in this chest? What is this mask supposed to represent? This piece of cloth is unmistakably from a dress. Was Sarah Hawkins here? This symbol. What does it mean?
Мне кажется, он чуть не нагрузился.
Of course.
There's tunnels all over this island. Given the size of this cave, there's gotta be other entrances.
The passage continues further down. Might as well start with that.
I ain't gonna squeeze in there. I'll find another way. If possible, I prefer not to ruin my uniform.
Fine, fine. Go look for another entrance. I'll try my luck down below.
Не такой противник, это противоречивый человек, очень половинный. Стоит банка и прекрасно, и тут же стоит доширак. То есть не самое тяжелое, самое любое.
Some kind of dream catcher. If I touch it, it'll turn to dust. Some kind of dream catcher. If I touch it, it'll turn to dust. An old diary. A sad way to go. 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 These paintings must be several centuries old. Time has weakened these structures. I don't have time to search them all. This oil again. What is it used for? I don't have time to search them all. What's going on here?
Piers!
Keep your voice down. We're not alone.
Good God. What have you got me into?
We'll see. I'll go on. Try to go down on your side.
Yeah, there's a passage. I'll meet you at the bottom.
A table for sacrifice? A mass grave. I got it. Oh, I can't breathe. What's happening? No, damn it! I must find a way out of here. Is it my turn?
Yes, it is time. You will soon be one of us, if your body and mind are ready.
I dream of it every night. I have constant visions. I am ready.
Good enough. Prove it to us.
It's like in my dream. It seems to have been used recently. Probably some sort of ritual. pre-classical Latin? Let's see what it says. What is this awakening they talk about? And this sacred flesh?
You who sleep, set this
Ya Cthulhu Nithsiha Fitag.
grant him your flesh and accept his, so that his body and yours may be one.
I feel it.
You are gifted indeed, not another one. Let him pass forever in front of you. Bring him more sacred flesh. Your return into the kingdom of the earth.
He's here. Stelbsna Cthulhu Kashok.
Понятно, так нельзя делать.
I feel it.
Bring me more sacred flesh. Pray for your return into the kingdom of the earth.
Dead? This ritual killed him. Where's the sense in that? Dead? This ritual killed him. Where's the sense in that?
We are ready for the ceremony. What about your protege?
His awakening.
Bradley, what are you doing here?
I saw two odd-looking guys coming down. Seemed up to no good. What in the world is this?
An intruder!
Oh, shit! Don't move! Police! Don't move! I won't hesitate!
Bradley, get back!
Shoot. Get back! You asked for it! Charles, you shouldn't have seen this. Ah!
It's caving in. We need to get out of here. My leg! Light! At last. I need help.
Кать, что там ищешь? Упс.
Хочу новый путь. Можно все готово.
Хрюмов, тебе что, сторону не устраивает?
Не хочу нравится. Просто мне нравится пушка. Я хочу ставить его. Может, повыкинуть?
Купи одноразовые. И выкидывай, покупай новые. Чё? Они каждый раз будут новые. Ну, новые.
Нет, одинаковые.
Что тут долго грузится? Загрузи, сегодня не вижу. Через черный экран.
He's having a seizure.
Strong subject.
There, he's opening his eyes.
Saved him.
Don't move, Pierce. You can certainly say that you gave us a scare.
What did you do to me? Undo these straps!
Whoa, go easy, my friend.
Your dad, he killed you.
Are you sure he's better?
He was dead. Me too, we were dead. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, my friend.
What? No!
Психушка.
What happened to me? Where am I?
Mr. Sanders, you have to come with us.
No, please. I can't leave here.
You got no choice, and neither do we.
You don't understand. If I go out, he'll see me. No! No!
You're leaving this cell.
Please. I don't want him to find me.
This foul gas again.
Tracked and hunted me, pursued me right into their dreams. They swooned all over their maps in the wake of my lonely wanderings. No sea is dark enough to hide the color of my blood. No wind strong enough to scatter my dreams. When the last of them rises up, you will choose. I will not be here to bear witness to it, because you will have released me. But the earth will resound to your cries, or theirs. Awaken and free me.
You there. Wait. Come on, stand up. We don't have much time. Can you stand up?
Who are you?
A friend of Ethan Bradley. It was he who told me that you had been interned here.
Wait. Bradley is really alive? understand. You filled me so full of drugs I can't distinguish dream from reality.
Please believe that I have nothing to do with these disgraceful treatments. Look, I don't have time to explain everything. I'm not really supposed to be here. And the same goes for you, according to Ethan. You must leave as soon as possible, and as unobtrusively as possible. I've brought you your clothes. Let me go ahead. We'll meet upstairs.
Wait a minute. Why should I trust you? I don't even know your name. All I have is a woman dressed as a doctor, which is not particularly reassuring.
I am Dr. Marie Colden. I work in this institute. But that does not mean I approve of everything Dr. Fuller does. He hides a lot of things from me, especially on this floor. We must not stay here. There are 2 men standing guard near the stairs. It's the only way to the floor above. I shall try to distract them, and get at least one to come with me. All you need to do is to follow me as soon as the way is free.
Understood. What does this mean? What did they inject him with? Am I in an asylum? What did he write about the painting? Sarah. Sarah Hawkins is on this list of authorized visitors. Why this strange symbol repeated over and over? If I don't get out of here, I'll end up like him. Poor wretch.
Dr. Colden, I would like to say that I'm surprised that we all know that your curiosity will be your ruin.
I don't understand. These people need care. You keep them in this terrible...
Go back upstairs, where your patients are waiting for you to treat them. As for you, gentlemen, do not disappoint me anymore. No one enters or leaves.
Yes, Doctor.
Damn it. I'll have to find a way of getting rid of those 2 myself.
machine is working again, but the control wheels haven't been put back on.
I was just going to the storage room. I can bring them to you.
No, Dr. Fuller doesn't want us touching the pressure valves.
As you want. I'm gonna see if there's sleeping pills left. They've run out again upstairs.
Good God. What could this machine be used for? It's an ammeter. I didn't expect to see one on this little rock. Have I activated anything? Is there a connection between this corpse and the machine? The corpse is complete. Whose are these limbs? Worse and worse. Vats of rotten flesh? An elaborate electrical system? Like a dumb pulp novel. This machine seems to consume a great deal of electricity. I can still increase the load. What will happen if I increase the current to the limit? I can still increase the load. I can still increase the load. Zoology, esotericism, mineralogy, and a full shelf on cephalopods. Sarah Hawkins. She was a patient here. Dementia? Self-inflicted wounds? It's done. Now for the others.
One, two, three.
Is there anybody here? 6, 4, 5. That's 4 days ago. No more. My calculations are always right. It's the date. It's the dates at the spread. That's yes. But the calculations, they're right. 4 days maximum. 5 at the most.
What is well enough inside?
feel it in my head and in my body. He roars and swells and has strength of oceans. His waves rise and crash, leaving behind them only a trail of white, nourishing foam. He is my master. He enters me.
You. Yeah, you there. Come here. I don't know.
What do you want?
Sleep. That's all.
Sleep? You don't want to leave?
No. Have you seen the storm that's brewing? I'm fine here. Except for one problem.
You want sleeping pills, right?
Yeah. And in exchange, I can make noise. Lots of noise.
You'll draw the guards to your cell to allow me to escape.
So, you in? Find something to make me sleep, and I'll take care of the guards for you.
I'll find you some pills.
Go look in the storage room. There must be sleeping pills there.
Locked. Exactly what I need.
Hey!
Inside me, I feel it in my head. It has straight oceans. Its waves.
You. Yeah.
What do you want?
Sleep? No.
You want?
Yeah.
You'll draw.
So.
I'll find you.
Go look in the.
information for my research.
It's locked.
Kill me!
What?
If you don't kill me, he will.
My poor friend, I fear your mind is lost forever.
The green gas leaves from here, and it runs through the whole building. The control wheel is missing. This valve controls the pressure. The duct. It's impossible to break this chain with my bare hands. This padlock is too complicated for me. It's no use. The padlock won't give. Perfect. With these chains on your wrist, you can't escape. I could use this control wheel to turn the valve I saw.
Who's there? This way.
I could use this control wheel to turn the valve I saw. Now for the next step. It's impossible to break this chain with my bare hands. Locked.
Who's there?
I do not stop, he does not catch me.
Get me out! They sleep in here.
What carnage. Theoretically, I've only got one lever to push. I can still increase the load. It's locked.
Pain is just information, dear Francis. Valuable information for my research.
Kill me! What? If you don't kill
there anybody around here?
Where do they keep their sleeping pills? Scopolamine, morphine, opium. My new friend's sleeping pills. All the levers are activated. This lever must turn on the gas machine. The piping hasn't burst. Not yet, anyway. I've got to hide before the guards see me.
Is somebody here? Fuller's gonna think we did this. We gotta tell him, though.
door is blocked on the other side.
Is that you?
Don't you worry about the doctor. Right now, he'll have plenty to keep him busy with his precious machine. It gives us time to get away. I'll undo you.
Get away? Get away where? I can't go anywhere. It'll find me, like it found me here. You're mistaken about the beast. Don't stay with me, or you'll end up the same way.
I'm not leaving without you.
No! Don't inflict this on yourself!
Come on, Sanders. Do it for my conscience.
You are making a mistake, sir. My fate is not your responsibility. The real culprit is Sarah. Her and her accursed paintings.
You're kidding me. You're talking about Sarah Hawkins.
The one and only. The legendary. There is no artist more enlightened or cursed than Sarah Hawkins.
In her office, I saw signs of a ritual, perhaps an invocation. These things, that's what makes you say she's cursed.
You're wrong. It was not an invocation, but a revocation. But she failed. And that's what counts.
What's going on this island?
I'm so sorry. We should never have met.
What are you talking about?
Destiny! It has trapped you. Don't let it see you, or you won't be able to escape it. Don't look at it. That's how it finds you.
What finds me?
Sarah Hawkins' visitor. The Shambler.
Sanders, pull yourself together.
Without her, it's no longer possible to save me.
Sanders!
Oh, jeez.
What the hell? I got it. This is insane. What killed him?
Его что-то поломало.
Damn! The gas! Oh. My head.
Later. We need to move on.
Уже? Подожди. Что? Тоже тепло. Тоже тепло приятно. Создать Человека-паука, да. Стэнли.
Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink. No. I want to know what Bradley and Dr. Colden have to say about all this.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day is only starting. It's fine.
How's our fugitive? Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost.
There are things I can't explain.
Tell us. What happened?
What I'm sure of now is that the Hawkins case isn't just an accident.
And what brings you to that conclusion?
The fact that Charles Hawkins survived the fire.
I don't understand. Mr. Hawkins was buried.
That's what he would have you believe.
I have a hard time believing you.
You were there, Bradley. You even opened fire on him.
I'd remember that.
Why would he fake his own death? Do you think he covered up his wife's murder?
That's possible.
Seems hard to swallow. Don't you have anything more concrete, Pierce?
Bradley, what do you remember?
I don't understand your question.
The night we went into the Hawkins mansion, you don't seem to remember the tunnels and what occurred there.
No memory of going down any tunnel. No, we were in the manor, then...
Then what?
The rest is quite blurry. I don't recall how I came back home.
And then?
I went to visit you at the hospital. And called on Marie's help to get you released.
And you don't remember the events of the tunnel?
I don't. Let's talk about something else.
I heard you talking.
Why am I not surprised?
I get the impression you two don't get along.
Intrusive and not very clever. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand.
Given the energy he pours into Riverside, I presume it was Fuller's creation.
His father's, to be correct. He was a surgeon on board the Scylla. He founded the hospital in 1904 with funds from the Hawkins family before he died and his son Thomas Fuller took over.
Two families inextricably linked.
Most island families are that way. Captain Fitzroy's father was also a seaman aboard the Scylla.
Powerful families dominating everything.
Yes, and as you could tell, Dr. Fuller is like some crazed emperor.
He wouldn't be happy if he knew we were snooping around.
I know the risks. I don't fear him. Do you wish to know anything else?
I found a file bearing Sarah Hawkins' name in the Institute's basement.
It makes sense. A powerful family like the Hawkins had the means to hide such a disgrace.
But everyone knows the Fullers have been taking care of the Hawkins for at least a generation. And all were aware of Mrs. Hawkins' fragility.
Perhaps, but no one would allow a psychiatric internment.
From what I read in the file, Fuller used her as a subject of his experiments.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins, subjects of Dr. Fuller. Why those two?
Dr. Fuller seems to be leaving a trail of corpses. Not to mention those strange machines, chains, and tools of all kind.
Yes, I've been telling you that Fuller uses his patients as guinea pigs.
What I saw was more akin to torture than medicine.
Do you even hear what you're saying? Dr. Fuller is highly respected.
It's the truth, Ethan, and I'll prove it to you. I'm listening, Mr. Pierce.
I have flashbacks. They haunt me.
What did they do to you?
There was that Dr. Fuller and a nurse. Blood everywhere. My legs. Pain. I couldn't bear it. I was screaming. They injected me with something. I woke up at the Institute. Bradley was there.
And how you scared us. You seemed demented.
You likely woke up during the anesthesia. No wonder those memories haunt you. What in God's name were they doing to you?
What happened afterwards?
When I woke up the second time, I was in a padded cell. That's where you found me, Doctor. After you released me, I got a good look at what's in store for the patients of the Riverside Institute. Hallucinogenic gas pumped into the cells. An infernal machine. Horrific medical experiments.
Impossible. Dr. Fuller would never do such a thing.
You should believe it, Ethan. What Mr. Pierce saw is precisely what I've been trying to prove. Did you discover anything else?
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course. He's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him transferred to the basement.
He knew Sarah Hawkins. And that's what killed him.
What? How did he die?
I'm not sure I can explain it.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders died.
I didn't see what, but something was there with us.
Of what do you speak?
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like a living being.
Sarah Hawkins? Have I missed something here? This makes no sense. I don't see how it can help crack the Hawkins case.
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered Mr. Sanders?
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known art collector. I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene Sanders.
An art collector, you say? That's probably how they met.
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the bottom of it.
He's right. We can't ignore the truth.
But it could drive her mad.
Better madness than ignorance. Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death and Sarah Hawkins.
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
I'll do my best.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
The other night's events are still confused in my head.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here.
You know each other?
Our paths crossed, briefly. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday. I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
Mrs. Sanders, I understand your grief, and I extend my deepest condolences to you. But I had nothing to do with the death of your husband. I've just arrived on Darkwater. I'm investigating the death of the Hawkins family.
The death of the Hawkins family? You mean it was not an accident? This accursed island knows only tragedy after tragedy. You too would be advised to flee it like the plague. Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
May I ask you what Miss Baker is doing here? How do you know her?
My business with Miss Baker is private, Mr. Pierce.
But you do know what kind of business Miss Baker is in, don't you?
I am no fool. Please believe that much, at least.
How did you come to meet Sarah Hawkins?
We were the wealthiest and most influential families on Darkwater. Of course we would know each other. And when Charles returned from Europe with his sweet little artist, she and her sinister paintings were destined to catch my husband's eye. He bought many of her works over the last 5 years. They adorn his macabre gallery.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can't imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you're so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long. Did she really care for him after all? The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives. A house of artists. A house of artists. A house of artists. Frances Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists. Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins? He didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated. The Shambler. I need to see it. Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. Inside my head. I see him. Behind my eyelids. Each time I shut my eyes. can't hold him back. Forgive me.
That accursed gallery. Those accursed paintings. That accursed Sarah.
A strange Amerindian pendant. I could use one of those. Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
I have a well-off client in Boston who heard about the death of Francis Sanders and wanted me to size up his estate before making an offer to his widow.
Perfect, Detective. The pretext? The body language? I would have bought it if it was the first time I'd seen your face. You're a good talker, Pierce. Your story will do for the moment.
And you? What brings you to the Sanders home?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paintings. She doesn't intend to hang around here for long.
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network and a means of transport to the mainland. A choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more pleasant, wouldn't you say? Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery. The public entrance to the gallery. Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Что за хера можно половить?
What the hell was that? Down. What the hell was that?
Надо этот меч мне убрал.
Down. I can use this dagger. What the hell was that? What the hell was that?
Этот кинжал, который там валяется. Ну, картинка, все. Что делать?
What the hell was that? Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger. Damn it! This dagger didn't work. Damn it! I have to use a specific... This dagger looks different.
Тебе кто еще смеркать не будет? Светится черный стол, все правильно.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Sanders was right. This painting is cursed.
What are you talking about?
I was attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
You knew. You knew about the beast.
What are you talking about? Think yourself lucky that I saved your hand, even if it was to save my goods.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
creature. This dagger was the only weapon capable of pushing it back. If Hawkins was trying to get rid of this shambler, she might have made contact with Drake. This antique dealer has a good knowledge of the occult. I have nothing to lose by meeting him.
You've got your spunk back. Go where you want. I'm staying here to talk business with Irene.
Да. Опа, цель.
Where is the bookseller? Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary. The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers place truth on... What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge. What happened here? Let's start over. Where did they break in from? Blood. Seems like amateur work. Someone tall left this footprint. A man, probably. No sign of struggle. If the burglar smashed this jar, it wasn't intentionally. Was he hurt then?
Дневная пора не наступила крестик.
What killed all these animals? What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work? What the... Charles Hawkins? What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess? Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe. Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case. Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
Так, ладно.
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills? What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
Только нахер целебы.
Arkham editions. How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham editions. Arkham editions. How many volumes are there? Another volume by Arkham editions. Arkham editions. Never heard of him. Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them. A kind of chalice. Things are not looking good.
And these red rocks, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them. And these red rocks, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
Сколько этих? Раз, два, три, пять.
The Queen has little protection.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
The Queen has little protection. What did Drake say about this? Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking. What did Drake say about this? Drake talked about so these are the volumes that Drake was. What did Drake say about this? Drake talked about a particular. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his. What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular. So these are the volumes that Drake was. What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about this collection?
Какой же тут странный код. Так, сейчас надо поломать голову. Вот чаша, вот шахматная доска. Там
Queen has little protection.
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. And these red rocks, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing. And these red rocks, like precious stones, lie fixed.
The Chalice of Knowledge.
Можешь сходить ко мне еще раз. Раз. Два. Три. Пять. Правильно? Раз. Два. Три. Пять. Будет 5.
To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry.
9.
And I do confess it.
Хотя может и неправильно.
I'm willing to pay to know its secrets.
Нет.
Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Не понимаю.
The Queen has little protection. The Chalice of Knowledge.
life fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
Queen has little protection.
Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling. And my will, I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our numbers dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the plaything of destiny.
Почти умный. Сейчас его тоже поломают. И не поломают. Ждем. Глава 8. Опять в институте. Ну ничего. Институт так институт. грузится. Че ты тупишь?
What says Dr. Fuller? It's his patient, after all.
He's busy with Captain Fitzroy. He specifically asked us not to bother him when that's the case.
Ты тупишь, блин. Все медленно, надо завязывать.
Oh, of course. I'll see what I can do. Mr. Blake, can you hear me? I'm Dr. Colden. We'll take care of you.
There's nothing we can do. I
Мы в теле этой
tried
тетки, что
talking
ли,
to him.
мистер?
He's catatonic.
Did you inject him with a tranquilizer?
No, Doctor. Not me, not anyone. Our stock is empty, yet
Again? But there was an...
more and more people are suffering from insomnia.
Of course.
Any idea what this man might be undergoing?
What can you tell me about it?
He was highly agitated an hour ago. 10 minutes ago, he curled up. I thought he was waking up.
Show me his file.
That...
Don't tell me Dr. Fuller has taken this file as well.
That's why I called you. This man's...
Come on now. What...
An intoxication, I was told. After inhale...
What are his symptoms?
I closed his eyes myself. I didn't want them to dry out. And I couldn't bear it.
You did well. Don't worry. I don't recognize.
He said he worked on the docks, but not with Cap. I think he works for... Who?
Oh.
Do you have...
That'll do for the time being.
Any idea what this man...
Very well. His skin shows abnormal loss of color and seems dried out. He's totally dehydrated. His fingertips and toes seem to feature a slight ring under the skin, tender at the touch, slightly... Severe malnutrition. Swollen abdomen with traces of petechia. Slight protuberances seem to indicate the 30-year-old subject. Severe erythematous papules around the eyes and eardrums.
So, Doctor, an opinion?
I'm not sure I have the necessary knowledge to treat this man.
Don't say that. You're our most worthy doctor after Dr. Fuller.
Some of his symptoms are beyond my comprehension.
What did you find?
Did you examine his abdomen? It would seem there's something inside.
He hasn't eaten in days. Are you certain?
No. Can't you recognize an edema? Pushing with your finger...
It's not like...
Whatever it is, this man has something inside him that shouldn't be there.
Dr. Fuller said not to worry, that the edema would go away by itself.
You know, I'm not sure Dr. Fuller is telling the truth. In spite of the
Yes. They can't have
And yet, if there is a bone in this, what about his cranium?
It's soft at the touch.
Look at these sticky rings growing at his fingertips.
I'm sure you'll find an
I see signs of hypodermoclysis, but he's still dehydrated. When was his last IV?
He's constantly under perfusion. I've even gone beyond, and you won't believe me, but...
He seemed to feel better?
Yes. Like he needs an aquarium, not a perfusion. But that doesn't...
I almost don't believe it myself, but these symptoms are not those you...
What do you mean? Don't tell me you...
No. This poor man is from our world, all right. And this transformation is killing him. His body simply can't cope.
Where could he have gotten such an infection?
I pray that it's not here.
Dr. Colden, may I know what you're doing to my patient?
What I'm doing? How about what you've done to him?
Let us calm down, my dear Marie. I don't appreciate your tone, nor your insinuations. I've done to him what I do to all my patients, provide him with the best available care.
Your imagination is without limit. It's your homemade drug again, is it not? Those people are not your guinea pigs.
There. What had...
His limbs? His body temperature? I don't know what experiments you've undertaken, but this is
Oh, I sense some excitement. Would it be you wish to join me in my site?
You are a brilliant physician, Dr. Fuller, but this man... This...
Fascinating. An animal, you say? Would you... Your reaction does. I know your thirst for... It's your innocent worries for this man that have...
For this man, and the others whose medical files you've been
I have to protect my discovery. These people owe me their life.
I will not let you do this.
You disappoint me, Marie, but I still have hope you'll one day share my point of view. In the meantime, take care of your own patients and try not to...
Was that a threat? What did he mean?
It was a warning. Dr. Fuller is this institution's founder, and my word is of no weight against his. If I continue to protest...
It's scandalous. Can't we do anything?
Oh, that evidence exists. I'm sure I need to find the missing medical...
And where would you find those? In his office?
I'd rather not think about that.
Of course, Doctor. You can count on me. I'll keep...
Пока не могу.
I saw the schedule. She's alone in the bathroom again. And she still says nothing to that old witch, Donovan.
Oh, listen to the way you talk, you naughty girl. And the answer is no. You can imagine that she doesn't dare say a thing. That silly goose lets herself be troubled.
Oh well, at least we won't have to clean for a while.
And just wait and see the next time the water's cut off. It's a real show.
Здоров. Спасибо. Давай, да я уже сейчас тоже буду заканчивать. Спокойной ночи. Не пойму. Здесь не пойму.
Wait a minute. Where do you think you're going? Dr. Colden.
Mrs. Donovan.
Nobody goes into Dr. Fuller's office. But rest assured, I'll tell him you came by.
That won't be necessary. Thank you.
I will tell him, nonetheless. I have little time for you, Doctor. You'll find out that it's not only the doctors who have things to do.
Дает не пройти. Я так не
Wait a
могу.
minute. Where do you think you're going?
Нет.
Dr. Colden.
Спасибо. Спокойной ночи. Давай сейчас уже гуляться.
Nobody goes. Rest assured, I will.
Ладно, в следующий раз уже буду ее отвлекать. Все. Покидывал.